All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Stoking the Coals. I am Knuckles, joined by Squared, and we're going to talk about UFC 316 that happened in Newark, New Jersey, just this past Saturday, June 7th. It was Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley in the main event, and Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison in the co-main, and then we'll have other parts of the card we're going to discuss. But anyway, super good card. I really liked it actually. There was a couple little fights in there that weren't so enticing, but overall, I think it was a pretty solid card, and I'm excited to talk about it. Squared, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I enjoyed that card overall. Kind of as you said, couple ones that were like, yeah, but even the ones that were like, weren't like they weren't that
Right.
bad. So that being said, enjoyed it. Follow us on our socials. X is going to be at bench_burner. Everything else, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, all those things at Bench Burner Sports. You'll find us there.
All right. And also, if you guys remember, I asked a question on the preview show about favorite walkouts. And the whole reason I asked about that was because of Sean O'Malley's iconic um, superstar or whatever, Lupe Fiasco walkout. And then he didn't walk out to that. but if
Switch,
I mean,
switcheroo.
I liked his choice. It was a pretty cool song, good song. Obviously, if you're proud, a proud American, no pun intended on that. But so yeah, if you guys still have a pick for that, drop it in the comments below. Drop it in the comments of our live, whatever you guys want to do. Also, just let everybody know we're going to do a little bit of a different format going into this one, just to give it a test. If you guys like it, let us know. We kind of already do this, but we're going to do like a little instead of me going and then Square going. We're going to do like an open discussion type of thing. That way, like if we have anything to interject, we can, and try not to talk over each other. But obviously, like if you're interjecting, sometimes it happens. So bear with us. It's just something new we're trying. And if you guys enjoy it, let us know in the comments below. We appreciate you guys tuning in. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get on to the main event, starting out with Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. And if you guys know already, Merab Dvalishvili beat Sean O'Malley by submission. I believe it was a ninja. It was like a modified guillotine, maybe like a ninja choke on Sean O'Malley in the third round, I believe, with like 10 seconds left or something like that. Not very much time left in the round. Rob, man, just every fight looks better and better. I think I'm gonna say it. He's the best bantamweight of all time. I know he's only got two title defenses to um, Aljo and Cruz and Dillashaw or whatever, all their defenses or whatever. But I think that I think this just the run he's on in this fight alone kind of solidifies that he's the best man. He's the best bantamweight of all time. He's definitely the most skilled, I think, for what it is. Just what he does. His boxing is improved. Um, I mean, Sean didn't really have anything for him. I think it was the first or the second round he looked okay, and it kind of gave me some like, oh, I was like, oh, this fight's gonna be closer. And then Rob
He was
just
showing some good defense early on, some good takedown defense early on. Gave me a little bit of hope for him, even though I'd picked Marab. And honestly,
right.
Marab's grown on me so much that there was I didn't really root for either guy, but was completely happy seeing Marab win. But Sean impressed me at first. At first is the key term there.
Do you think? I mean, do you think that? I don't know how. Do you think Sean? I'm trying to put it into words. I don't know. Like, it feels like he made good adjustments. Do you think it's more so that Sean didn't make enough adjustments, or Marab has just got that good? I would say more so it's that Marab is just that good. Like he's
Yeah.
improved. I think he's improved at least I would say 25 to 50% since the last time he fought Sean. Like he looks like a whole different fighter from that fight, and he dominated the previous fight too. I mean, I don't know. All right, everybody, sorry about that. Had a little bit of technical difficulty. Anyway, we were talking about Rob, and I was asking, do you think it was more so Marab's improvements or Sean's inability to to adapt to what Marab does? Or do you think it's a combination? What I think, because I just think that Marab has gotten that much better since the last fight.
Yeah, I definitely think it's been Marab's growth. I mean, you could literally see Sean doing so much better if you compare it to the last fight. The last fight, he wasn't moving
Yeah.
around. He looked very timid throughout the fight. We know that he was injured in that fight. We know that he was completely healthy in this fight. He did a lot of things better, and you can see it. But I
Mm,
think Marab is just like he's just kind of grown into himself. Like obviously he's always been good, but now he's like, he's finishing people, which is which is crazy.
right.
He's finishing people. I think maybe that Umar fight just kind of unlocked a new level of him of
I
just
agree.
that
I
real
agree. I
champion
agree.
confidence. Yeah, this was all Marab. You got to give the man his flowers. He did it. He did it
100%.
very impressive.
I completely agree. Do you think right now, is there a bantamweight that can beat him? Is there one?
My dude, I would say maybe Umar in a rematch just because it was a very
I
competitive
think Umar
fight.
needs to take a fight before that, though. I think he
Yeah,
needs.
I think so. I could also just see the world where now Marab's very familiar with Umar and just dog walks
Right.
him in a rematch.
Right.
We see that a lot. You see like close rematches. All right,
Mhm.
let's get it in for the second one, and then the one guy or the other just has the puzzle figured out by then, and he just makes it completely non-competitive.
And statistically, at that level, I think a lot of the time in championship fight rematches, the person who won in the first matchup wins when it comes to the championship part. Obviously,
Yeah.
like Kamaru Usman, after he lost to Leon, Leon won the second fight and everybody was picking Kamaru. I think I picked Kamaru because he was dominating Leon
Yeah.
in their second matchup, or a lot of different fights. It's just weird.
Sean and
Yeah.
DDP is a good example of
Yes.
DDP just had it figured out, and people thought, and I thought also that Sean won that first fight, but I was like,
Yeah. I
DDP is just going to
do.
be very familiar with him now.
Yep.
And not to get off track, we're not talking
No,
about,
you're good. No,
but Sean,
completely. No.
Sean's a little like kind of one dimensional. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, and then that's what happens. DDP, he knows the puzzle pieces. He's got it all put together and puts on a dominant performance like that. You see that a lot with. It's a pretty common pattern.
Right. And speaking of one dimensional, everybody always said Marab was fairly one dimensional with his grappling. His boxing is coming along. Like he
Yeah,
tagged Sean a couple times. I was like,
yeah.
everybody made fun of Bilal with the Canelo hands. Marab kind of came in there. He was looking. I mean, I'm not gonna say he looks better than Bilal on the feet, but like, damn it, he looked pretty good for a dude who's primarily a grappler, and I think that's attributed a lot of his work with John Wood. I think over there at Syndicate, he's been training with that squad, which is pretty decent strikers, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, he gets his wrestling with Sarah Longo. Um, he's just becoming the complete package. I'm super excited to see his next fight. Obviously, he teased it, and I'm pretty sure they're probably going to go with it. I know that Dana wants the Umar rematch, but I think that Umar should honestly.
I think Dana said Sanhagen's next. He said
Good.
mentioned the Umar rematch about how that would be a interesting rematch, and then a reporter said, "Is that to say that Umar is going to possibly get the shot before Sanhagen?" And he just went, "No, no, he's not." He said,
Good. As I'm saying, I think it's time. Corey, I know he's on a one fight win streak, but still, like, he's been right there for so long. And I think it's time that he gets it.
"Yeah,
He had kind of like a faux type of, I mean, I think it was only 3 rounds. Was it 3 rounds or 5 rounds against Piotr Jan? That was kind of like an in between fight um, that you could have almost called a championship fight when he
I
fought
think
Piotr.
that wasn't an interim championship, wasn't it?"
I don't think it was. I think it was just number one contender, and I think it was kind of short notice, if I'm not
Sure.
mistaken. You might be right. You might be right.
Let's check that. We'll do a live.
We're doing
Jamie, can you pull that up for me?
fact checking. That's when he Coop back in here for us.
What was
Uh,
it? 267, I think.
Something like that. It's been a few years. It was one of the better fights I've seen.
It was
It was a
definitely
5 rounder.
a 5 rounder. Yeah.
I'm on Sure Dog. It'll
Yeah,
say
'cause
if
it
it's
says 2 title fights, and it's, Teixeira versus Blachowicz, and then
it
it's
was an interim.
yeah, it was
Wow.
in
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, cool. Yeah, so he has had a one title fight technically. And that was a damn good fight. Highly recommend anybody go back watch that one if you want to see super technical two dudes that are super technical. However, uh I'm excited to see that fight. I don't Corey is far superior on the ground than Sean is. And obviously, like the 50-50 positions he was putting Figueiredo in, which Figueiredo is not a slouch on the ground. But those positions he was putting Figueiredo in off also, like Figueiredo is actually like really super good on the ground. Actually, that's what he's partially known for. Like he's got power and he's really slick on the ground. And Corey just, I mean, kind of was just working him, like just making him make stupid decisions that led to the injury that happened. And I don't think he'll be able to do that against Marab because it's two different types of grappling. Um, but I think Corey just presents a different set of problems that Sean doesn't have. Because where Sean is very slick with the evasion and moving side to side, Corey's very good with um, awkwardness, his ability to switch stances and just do weird shit. Honestly, like Corey's very crafty, very odd, and I think it like I mean he looks like a skeleton and it kind of matches. He's a very odd looking dude, um, very skilled. Um, I'm looking forward to that fight. I am. I'm really looking forward to it, and in the future, hopefully, we get to see you know, Umar fight for the title one day. Hell, I mean, even if Song Yadong goes out there and colds somebody, give him a title shot one day. You know, he works with Team Alpha Male, and they are known for their wrestling, and I think he's got pretty solid takedown defense. So that's one we could see in the future. I'm just excited, man.
yeah.
Keep Marab going. I want to see all
Mhm.
these dudes. I want to see all these dudes.
Yeah.
Also heard that Marab is taking a small vacation after this fight. Thank God, dude. Take your time. Don't get in. You know, like I know he could fight with his leg cut off and probably still win, but take some time. He said he's looking for MSG in November or the T-Mobile card in December. Would be cool with either one of those. Obviously, Corey would be the matchup. As for Sean, you think he takes the rest of the year off? What do you think he does?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He took a hot minute off right there. I mean, not nothing too crazy, but he took a hot minute off. Dude, I've got a feeling people have been talking about what's next for Sean, some potential. I've got a sneaky suspicion that it's going to be Batista just because their timelines match up. They might view that as a they're going to want to keep Sean in the mix, of course. That's still a cash grab for them. So they're going to want to keep him in the mix. They might see that as a winnable fight for him. Um, it might not be. Yeah, it might not be. I don't know. But they might go for something like that. I've seen a couple people, and I'm not completely opposed to this. Maybe not right now, but it definitely is on the table for them and wouldn't be the worst decision, would be a move up to 145. There's
That's
a
what I'm
lot
hearing a
of
lot of.
really intriguing matchups for him there. Like just even off the gun, like it doesn't have to be. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be straight into a title shot, but like him versus like an Arnold Allen. Uh,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Would be
yeah,
perfect.
fights
Yeah,
like that. There's some other guys. There's some guys that maybe I wouldn't feel so comfortable with him going. Like a Mobstar maybe wouldn't be
right,
great.
right. But can you imagine him versus like Yair?
Yeah, him versus Yair, him
That would be
versus
crazy striking.
some
Um,
of the crazy guy like that. Even him versus Diego, which
yeah,
may not like right off the bat sound like a great matchup for him, but like when you think about it, like he could really. I don't know.
I think
They're very
if he
intriguing
adds
matchups.
if he adds muscle too, like obviously he'll take the time and add size. That's what he did. I mean, because if you look at him at the beginning of his bantamweight career to now, he's so much bigger. Like
Yeah,
he's a big
he's a
bantamweight.
string
Um,
bean. Yeah.
but there was a guy who called him out, a guy he's already beat, Aljamain Sterling.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he should take that rematch. I don't
No.
because no, I mean I don't know if Aljo would beat him, but fuck, dude, like because Aljo almost beat Mavsar. Honestly, I thought Aljo did beat Mavsar, so we could like if we're in a different universe, we could be talking about Aljo fighting for featherweight title. So I don't know if I'm Sean. Maybe wait a year or two, then do the rematch when he's like 37.
He also just doesn't really have much to gain from that right now. It's like you already beat that dude for a title when it really mattered.
To make himself feel better.
Yeah.
To make himself feel better. But anyway,
I'd feel so
yeah,
bad
that's
for Aljo if he got put out the exact same way.
watch, and it'll
falls
come
for,
on, Aljo, you gotta go,
falls
Aljo.
falls for it again, just like
Oh my gosh. And Marab would be fucking just raging in the corner, like, you shut up. Oh, dude, gosh.
Rob to move up to 145.
Right. But yeah, dude, I do like Sean a lot. I think he's gotten a lot more mature. I've liked Sean the whole time. And I like Tim Welch. I really like Tim Welch a lot. So wish the best for them in the future. Anyway, talked a little bit about that fight. Obviously, that's the big one to talk about. But the second biggest, or in some people's mind, the biggest because of the implications that it held, Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison, man. Damn, dude. I was going into the fight. The only thing I was worried about Kayla was obviously making weight and um, not gassing out. Because when you're cutting that much weight, your gas tank really does suffer. She didn't need the gas tank. God, she about took her arm home. Like the crank, like if I've seen different angles on it, like she legit almost broke the arm. Bad. Like we're talking for my OG fans, Minotauro Nogueira when he got his arm snapped by Frank Mir, that type of shit where it like breaks up here. Yeah, that's what almost happened. So Kayla is a monster. Juliana Pena is tough as hell. I still don't personally really care for her as a fighter. I don't know how she is as a person. I just don't really care for her as a fighter because she says a lot of shit but never really backs it up outside of beating Pennington, I guess, and Nunes. The Nunes win, that's legit. Like that was a very, very like Matt Serra type of win, and you can like Izzy says, I beat that guy one time, like that meme that he made. But yeah, man, dude.
Yeah.
Kayla,
dude, I was wrong. I picked Kayla by decision. Looking back then, I was like, "What the hell are you thinking, dude?" I think I do respect Juliana as a fighter a lot. I know that's not a popular thing because of her personality, but I do respect her, and she's been at the top for a while. And like you said, beat Nunes, and you can call that like an off night for Nunes, but like, damn, she still did it, and like no one else was doing it. So. I put a lot of respect, and I still think Juliana is a good women's fighter, and so that's just props to Kayla for making that look so easy. I think I predicted that Pena would have like one good moment. I think was one of the things I said. I was like, Pena's gonna have one moment where she's gonna shine, not gonna win, but she's gonna shine. I don't think she had that moment.
No, I don't think she like.
I think she might have, unless I didn't like go back and rewatch it. Wasn't really worth that. But
she was doing
I
a good
think she
job.
might have landed one good punch on the nose, but it wasn't like anything crazy or anything.
She had the up kicks. She had those up kicks.
yeah, she had the up kick.
That's another strike that I think kind of should be legal. If they're on one knee, like that's a way to defend and get out of a position. I mean, we've seen people get knocked out from up kicks, very rare, but dude, she just got dog walked. I mean, you got to think about it. She had a 10-8 round in the first round because she lost the point. Also, shout out that ref. Like, shout out that ref. Did his job. Get that guy in more main events. Get that guy in more big fights. He needs a promotion. I think he refed several fights Saturday. So, like, shout out to him. I wish I knew his name. I'll go back and maybe I'll tell it later in between fights, whatever. But he was in a few fights that night. But I do have to say, coming off that fight, I am so stoked for Amanda versus Kayla because I'm interested to see what Amanda looks like after a couple years off against somebody who is definitely formidable when it comes to overall like athleticism and strength. I'm interested to see how Kayla handles the striking battle because that's where it's going to get dangerous. because Amanda can crack. We've never seen Kayla really get hurt. I will say that, but she did get punched in the face several times by Ketlin Vieira, which I've also said, and I think I've been called a dumbass for this, but I have always said that Ketlin's like a not as good miniature version of Amanda Nunes. She reminds me a lot of her. She's just not as
Dumbass.
yeah, it doesn't say she's not quite as skilled, but she reminds me of a lot of her, just like the style, I guess. Super fucking pumped about that fight. God, can you
Yeah.
imagine? And I also made a. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Like you said, dude, I'm intrigued to see what Amanda, and that's kind of like already thinking about that fight because that is definitely what's going to happen next. Um, I'm very interested to see Amanda come back after how long will this be now?
2 years, right? At least.
Years. Yeah, something like that. It's going to be interesting to see her come back because, like, and that's what makes me kind of just lean towards Kayla right now is just activity. Like coming out of retirement, she's just been
Right.
momming it up for the last few years. I'm sure she stayed healthy and all that stuff, but I mean, to come back after a long hiatus against
Yeah.
Kayla,
She.
the human locomotive.
I mean, we couldn't see it with her. With her like Michael Jackson look she had going on Saturday. I don't know what the joke was, but like she still looks like. Yeah, like I saw. Is that Mikey? No, but
He's back.
but she looked I mean she looked fit with her fit on. Also, when she got inducted into the Hall of Fame earlier this year, she looked good. So she's obviously probably staying in shape. Say she's a little heavier than she was before. Obviously, retirement does that to you. Um, but I think that she'll be able to make weight and all that. Initial thoughts, I'm honestly kind of leaning Amanda, only because the Ketlin Vieira fight and also uh, the Larissa Pacheco fight.
Yeah.
Larissa Pacheco stylistically is very, very, very much like Amanda. That's a fight. I wish that the UFC could get. I know that Bellator and PFL fighters have not had a good run in the UFC lately. But if they could get Larissa and Larissa could cut to 135 because I think she has made it before. Yeah, because she fought Sheath UFC at 135 against the little girl Jessica Andrade when Jessica Andrade used to fight at 35. Crazy that Larissa Pacheco fought Jessica Andrade. But if we could get her in there, that'd be another great. You could make bantamweight a phenomenal. And I know that Amanda and Larissa have already fought like 3 times, maybe 4 times at this point.
Yeah, I think
Fuck,
so. She'd beaten Larissa a good bit
like two or
before.
three times, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I'll watch another one. We haven't seen it in the UFC,
Nope.
and they allow elbows in the UFC. So, uh, yeah, interesting. Also, I made a tweet or a post, since X likes to call them posts now, um, about that fight, and then uh Whaley versus Valentina on the same card. Dude, I don't care what anybody says, man. People be like, oh, it's two WMMA fights. Don't get me wrong. Man, you can ask squared. I'm one of the biggest detractors from women's MMA because I do find a lot of the fights boring because just how they work out. I'm telling you right now, if you don't like women's MMA, those two fights on the same card as the main and co-main, I don't give a shit. You're gonna like it. I don't care what you think because it just can't be boring. It can't be boring. We're talking about skill. That's the difference too. It is champion versus champion and champion versus champion. Pretty much can't be boring. I mean, it could be. I could be wrong. We've seen boring fights, but the skill level involved in those two fights is crazy, crazy. So, um,
I just double checked myself. So 8 days ago, it kind of just saying this. 8 days ago, the U.S. Department of Education recognized June as Title IX month. If Title IX month was in like a couple months later, that would have been a perfect time to do that card. Just Title IX month, have those four badass women go at it. That'd be pretty dope. But
man, if Amanda could get in shape in time, Obviously, Kayla took 0 damage. Valentina, I don't really think took too much damage against Manon Fiorot. And obviously, Whaley just is doing Whaley things because she doesn't fight like hardly ever. We need a main event for 320. We need something for 320
Yeah.
now that it's not Noche. Boom, right there. I know that's just 4 events away, and it's what, in September? Do it, man.
320, I believe, is now in early October. There is not a pay-per-view, or at least a numbered event, but a pay-per-view in September. If I'm
That's the
remembering
first
that.
time in years. Like, that's the first
Yeah.
time in
It's
years.
gonna, it's gonna be I think they said a 7-week stretch with no numbered events or something like that.
It's kind of nice for our pocketbooks.
Yeah,
But
I think that's exactly what Max said when I read that tweet to him. He was like, "Helps me save a little
right.
money." All right.
But uh they'll probably double up in October or November. Like
They'll
actually,
charge us for a shitty Apex car.
oh yeah, they'll say Apex fucking. They'll be like the ultimate Apex, because that one dude for TNA or whatever it's called, or not TNA, TKO says that the Apex is the world's mightiest Apex. So he's gonna make some pay per view out of it. They're gonna have co promotion with WWE, but yeah. So that is the main and co-main. Damn good fights, honestly. Like I enjoyed both of them. Um, both kind of dominant in their own way. Very exciting. But then we get on to Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Body Bags Piper. Uh, old Joe, like a Harper, they're all comfy. Old Joe Piper, huh?
Sleep. Sorry, yeah, she did a little sleep bark, chasing
Oh,
the
did she? Oh, okay.
trying to wake
Did
her
she?
up a little bit. She
There you go.
sorry.
Joe Piper. I mean, he looked decent early. He really seems to be finding his footing, but the gas tank is still a major concern because he was gassed in that third round, and Kelvin Gastelum kind of really started tagging him. If that was a 5 rounder, again, I would have taken Gastelum. I picked Gastelum and shit there for a minute. I was like, is he gonna fucking pull this off? I was like, is he gonna crack him somewhere? Because he was starting to do work. Um, man, Joe Piper just really relies on the strength and the power, the strength, the athleticism. But obviously, the gas tank does not come with the athleticism. I was impressed with that outing, though, because Kelvin Gastelum's not a slouch. I know he's lost a lot of fights recently, but we're talking about a guy who fought for a title at one point in one of the greatest fights of all time. And he's also never been knocked out. And I think Joe Piper, outside of Izzy in their fight, Joe Piper is the closest I've ever seen Kelvin being knocked out. Like Joe landed 2 really good shots on him, and I was like, oh
I
boy,
almost clipped you. I almost clipped you. I almost had you for a second. I started getting the screen record going. The episode, I said TKO, and you were like,
yeah.
never been knocked out before. He hasn't been dropped since then.
When that happened, I was like,
I said, watch this, and I was like,
dude,
oh,
I was
I got him.
I was sitting there like I was like, oh, dude, you could have seen me. I was sitting there. I had my beverage in my hand. I was like, oh, dude, like, no. And he gutted it out. And I felt like after the first round, I was like, okay, Joe's gonna slow down after this round, and he did slightly. But shit, I think he still cracked him once in the second, pretty decent.
Yeah.
I was like, Kelvin, what do you do? But again, you got to think, Joe's 6'3", Kelvin's 5'9". Joe had a 75-inch reach to Kelvin's. Also, Kelvin's reach at 5'9" is impressive. I think it's like 73, because Joe only had a 2.5-inch reach advantage, which Kelvin, when he was doing those big winging punches, you got to see how long his fucking arms were. He's got like gorilla arms, But yeah, man, Joe impressed me, but also still gave me a lot of fucking questions. Also, his post fight where he just started screaming, I was like, Joe, stop, bro. Like, I already don't care for you. You're making it worse.
It was one of those performances where he won, and there's all the good that comes with winning. Obviously, there's nothing bad about winning, but you won. But you also, like, when you end a fight like that, like kind of getting doinked on in the third round, it almost doesn't feel like you won.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sure he feels great. All he knows is he got a 1 added to the win column, And that at the end of the day is all that happened. But like
Right.
from a fan's eyes and like from viewership eyes, it's like, dude, I don't know. If that fight had another like minute or so left in it, who knows? Like,
Yeah. I think that I think
he's
I
got room
I
to
posted
improve, to say the least.
I posted something about him fighting Ikram today, I believe, or sometime. It was either today or yesterday. I posted about him fighting Ikram potentially. Like that would be a good fight. I'm thinking about it now more. I don't know if that'd be a good fight because Ikram. Don't get me wrong, Ikram's chin is questionable, but if he just tackles him, he'll wear Joe out in a round and a half, and then Joe won't have anything, and it'll be done. I think I saw somebody post about it. Him versus Abus is like that's the fight. I think actually, I think that's the fight because they both can hit hard. They both kind of just crash in. I mean, Abus more than he does. It depends on what version of Abus we get. But both don't have very good gas tanks. Both kind of crash in. Both can have some wrestling, have power. It's kind of like a 50-50 matchup. Joe definitely has more power, but I think Abus is the better mixed martial artist overall. Um, that's the fight because I think Joe needs to take a step back, and I think Abus is kind of a step back from Kelvin in a way. Not, I think Abus could beat Kelvin right now, but I don't think he would, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, Joe just that's a fight. That or Michelle Pereira, but Michelle Pereira probably do some. I don't know. That's a good fight too. Yeah, Michelle or Avis.
I just had a thought, and not saying that this would be my
Yeah,
pick, but kind of just intriguing. I want your thoughts on it. What do you think about him versus 185 Kevin Holland? I don't. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm just wondering how that fight would go.
he would tackle Kevin. He'd probably
That's fair.
tackle
That's fair. I kind of forgot
because
that one
and
side
that's the
too.
thing. At 180, like at 170, Kevin can like grapple. It's weird.
He
I
can
don't know
just
what those
leap out the submission really well,
right, right. Like he
real
can,
slick.
but every time he's fought somebody elite at 185, he's just gotten held down. I mean, look at Roman, look at Marvin Vittori way back fucking when. I mean, even Jacare was holding him down until Kevin hit
Yeah,
that shot. Um,
pistol
oh,
whip.
dude, I think Jared Cannonier maybe held him down too. I mean, everybody's fought at 185 has held him down, and Joe is a serviceable wrestler. Obviously, he trains with Sean and company and whatnot. But it's like, yeah, I could also see Joe being because it's Joe and he's not smart. Um, and yeah, I'm saying that because I just don't like him. But I could see Joe trying to strike with him, and that would just be a bad day at the office because
Well,
he's got
who is Joe grappled? I remember what's his name,
yeah, and he
Alson.
didn't look bad.
But it's typically guys that are smaller than him. Someone
Yes,
who's
and
a lot
that's
longer than him. That also just kind of throws a little
um
intrigue into the concept. Again, I just kind of brought that up as a pondering point. That's not going to
yeah.
be the next fight, but
He wrestled Abdul Razak Al Hassan, which Abdul is not. He's terrible at grappling. I think he tried to grapple with Jack a little bit, but that's like just that's a bad idea because
yeah.
it's Jack. Um, I think I think it's the Abdul fight. I think I remember seeing that grappling, and I think maybe a little bit in his.
He did absolutely manhandle him though. I remember he was picking that dude up and just tossing him
Yeah,
around.
like he's got grappling. I mean, he's got like I don't know how good he is, but he's got grappling. So it'll be interesting, and I think that's probably what he do to Kevin, unless I don't know. I've also I need to see him. That's why I want to see him fight a boost because I want to see how good his grappling is. Because also Kelvin, man, I don't know what the fuck happened to his grappling. He used to be like, remember when people talked about him being one of the best wrestlers coming into? I think at welterweight he is, but obviously he's Mr. Torto. You can't shout out to you, but yeah, fuck, dude, I don't know, man. Kelvin, man, he's one of the biggest what ifs. I legitimately, and I'll say this obviously, like I can say it with confidence now because we're already past the point. But I do say this with confidence. I think Kelvin, if he would have stayed at 170, would have challenged, maybe won the title or competed multiple times for a title because his size translates there. At 185, you're 5'9". 5'9". Now your reach is good, but you're 5'9". Also, I think DC mentioned it. Kelvin is the oddest shaped human being in the world. He has a massive upper body, and his legs are tiny. I mean, I was watching the fight, and DC said he's got tiny legs, and I was like, it looks like a popsicle. Like he's got two sticks, just holding up a big frame, and I'm like, how are your thighs not bigger? Because you're carrying around like 220 pounds probably when you're walking around. I can't even imagine what weight he gets to outside of camp. But anyway, shout out Kelvin. He's gonna have to win some sooner. They might seriously consider starting talking about moving him along. He should move. You know what? If he wants a quick payday and probably beating everybody, he should move to fucking PFL. He'd probably beat mostly everybody there, and he'd probably collect a paycheck. The only person I would be concerned about is probably Johnny Eblin. But obviously, Bellator and PFL were. Speaking of that, it's perfect transition. Speaking of that,
weird body types is also a perfect transition because our boy Patchy Mix kind of has the similar thing. He's not fat, but he's kind of got the similar like. Why are your legs so narrow, dude? Why are you shaping it up in a triangle?
And like, what happened? That's not the Patchy Mix I've watched. That's not the Patchy Mix I know. That's not the Patchy Mix I hyped up for years at this point. I've talked about the dude for like 2 to 3 years. I think I mentioned on multiple podcasts about how I think he could fight for a title in the UFC. Not now. No, I don't know if he wins.
Not that version of him.
No, he was, in the great words of one Israel Adesanya, he was frozen like Elsa, and that is a fact. And Mario looked good. Like Mario, like legitimately, Mario just was like, this guy's not going to move his head. I'm just going to keep punching him in the face. Like, and that's the thing is you see usually like fighters that don't have much head movement, you see like kind of like this, like very slight. For audio listeners, I'm barely moving my head side to side, but like you see a little bit of movement. It legitimately like his head was on a pedestal, just bop, 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 and didn't move it. And every time he got hit, you could tell he didn't like it. He was just like, when he had that face, he was like, oh, like,
dude. Yeah, that's why I kind of suspected some kind of injury, maybe even with a foot injury, because anytime he was moving around, he was wincing and like he looked like he was on the verge of tears. Anytime they would get in exchanges, he was just like closing his eyes. It's like,
yes,
what is happening to you right now? And I feel bad because I was rooting for Patchy. Like you, I've been a big supporter of his throughout his Bellator stage. And I thought it was going to go so fucking hard if he won because he had that bar at the press conference where he was like, and I'm looking right past him, which is like what people would never say. Now that aged horribly. That's going to be in a Mario Batista highlight reel.
Can I be honest? That's the moment when I started. We'd already done our podcast about it, but that's the moment I started feeling not confident because there's a fighter in the past, and you can watch this, and it was Anthony Pettis versus Rafael dos Anjos. Anthony Pettis said, "I'm looking through Rafael," and then he got dog walked by Rafael dos Anjos. I feel like anytime in the history of ever, outside of like maybe old school MMA, when people have said they're looking through somebody, past somebody, it never pans out. And I was like,
for me personally, it made me more confident because it was almost like reverse psychology. When he said that, I was like,
right.
Surely he would only say that if he was actually taking him very seriously. Like he wouldn't say that and then like be like, yeah, I actually haven't been training for this guy really well.
Like, like the worst part is he was doing exactly what he did against Hoffman and Stotts. I feel like he thought that it was going to go the exact way that the Stotts fight went, which was knee up the middle. I feel like he was thinking that Mario was going to shoot more or dip more because if you watch, he threw that knee, and that will land one day for him against maybe somebody not as good as Mario. Like next, he needs to fight. He needs to fight somebody unranked. Give him Jonathan Martinez. Give him. And honestly, I think Jonathan Martinez, excuse me, probably beats him at this point. But if that version shows up, but give him somebody unranked. But I saw in that fight, he threw that knee, and that knee got so close, it kept brushing just right past the right side of Mario's face. And I was like, if he lands it, it's going to hit hard. But Mario saw it like the first two times he threw it. And so he just kept moving his head to the side. And Patchy kept throwing the same knee. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing, brother? The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah. Can I also mention that Patchy, as I think everyone is remembering that he did poor, like he just looked like the lights were getting to him, all that stuff. But
yes.
Another thing that I think people are forgetting is he did get progressively better throughout the fight. And I mean, he didn't, like I said, not great, but
right.
People remember the last 30 seconds, he had Mario in some serious trouble. He was landing some shots, had Mario backing up. Of course, he wasn't capitalizing on it, which also made me think like, dude, are you like, is your foot hurting or something? Are you afraid to kind of attack him right now? But he did, obviously the first round was horrid. Second round, still not great, but he looked a little more competitive. And then third round, I think the start of the round was not great, but then started to kind of pick up steam. I'd like, just as a Patchy supporter, would like to think that maybe he just needed to kind of work himself in, maybe some ring rust, injury, whatever. Because how long ago was his last fight before that?
It's been like almost a year, and it was a split decision against Magomedov.
Yeah.
He arguably lost. Yeah, because Bellator. You know what? I'll say fuck PFL and fuck Don Davis. Sorry, Don. Sorry, Don. I probably shouldn't be saying that because I have wanted him to come on the podcast, but I don't care, man. I am so angry at what they're doing to a lot of these fighters, keeping them on shelved, like Johnny Eblen barely fighting. Usman thankfully is fighting more, but a lot of these fighters, Patchy was one. The Patricio Pitbull was one. A lot of their fighters, obviously,
gotta say, Scott Coker definitely didn't help them. I mean, he helped them and he tried to do something really nice, but this was the repercussions of that. You gave them a bunch of fighters they couldn't afford before you handed them over, and it's like, I think the idea was nice. It's like, all right, now PFL is going to pay you a bunch, not my, like, fuck it. But then they're like, no, we're not going to pay these guys. We're going to shelve them. And I'm not trying to defend PFL. So long as they continue to do what it took them a while to do it. But they started kind of just being like, all right, these guys are like asking out of their contracts. We're going to grant that for them. They've gotten a little bit better at that. So,
that's the hard part, man. I mean, like, that, but like trying to get them into fights, and in the fact that you got to think about it, Patchy, and I'm not trying to like make excuses again, because I think, honestly, I think if he had a full camp, I don't know how much he would have looked different, because I do think that there might have been an injury. I don't know. Obviously, and he's the type of fighter I don't think will say he was injured. He just doesn't strike me as that type of guy. But I think you got to think about a year layoff, or damn near a year layoff, plus coming in on like 3 weeks notice, barely 3 weeks. That's tough. I hope he does better in the next one. Give him somebody unranked. Give him somebody a little bit easier, maybe more favorable matchup. And shout out, you know what? I used to hate him because of the Jose Aldo fight, but shout out Mario Batista, because he went back to the Mario I know, fun striker, will mix in grappling if he needs to, and give Mario, like you said, I wouldn't mind the Sean O'Malley fight, or I saw somebody say that he should fight Rob Font next. I think I mean, Rob's on a nice little thing, and Mario might be a good like in between. That could be a good in between fight for Mario. I think that I wouldn't hate it.
What do you think about giving Patchy the man he replaced? What do you think about giving him Cheeto?
I think Cheeto would hurt him fucking bad. I'm gonna be honest. Like even the tentative Cheeto,
yeah, probably
because where Cheeto falls behind on fighters is when they throw a lot and he can't get the reads he wants. Mario doesn't move his, or not Mario, Patchy doesn't move his head. And that's just like, think about it. Cheeto's just gonna head kick, knockout. And Cheeto, I think, has sufficient enough takedown defense to mute that maybe to a point. Also, Patchy has to shoot a takedown. He shot one takedown against Mario. What are you doing? Anyway, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I think that Cheeto would probably knock him out. I'm gonna be honest. If he doesn't knock him out, he's gonna hurt him pretty fucking bad. But yeah, man. It was what it was. Hopefully, Patchy will come back and look better. I think he should maybe try to like get on the undercard of the MSG card, or maybe get on to like a main card of an Apex card, something like that. Kind of maybe. Actually, yeah, get him in the Apex. Put him somewhere where the lights aren't so bright, because I think that does hurt a lot of these fighters coming in. I really do. I really do think it does. And yeah, Mario, good luck to him in the next fight. Shit, maybe you can keep climbing the rankings and get a title fight one day. But all right, going into the next one, we have Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. And you know, there's a lot of questions surrounding this fight. Obviously, going into it, is Kevin going to be good enough on the ground? Is Luque's chin going to hold up? And Luque's chin, it was tested, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't Luque, or it wasn't Kevin's ground game we had to worry about. It was Luque's. And Kevin did the thing that he's been doing against some of these fighters, and that's catching him in that like Darce choke. That he is nasty with that. I think that's 3 or 4 times in his career he's landed that against especially dangerous opponents on the ground. Michael Chiesa is one that I can think of that he landed the Darce on. And Vicente Luque is kind of known for the Darce. And Kevin just, he hit it, man, you know. And I like this version of Kevin a little bit more than the version we've been seeing, where he just gets pissed off at everybody and been talking a lot of shit. I mean, I guess he's still, somebody said he was still talking shit to some fans. I don't know. I'm kind of strayed away from the guy, but I like when he fights for the most part, outside of like when he doesn't care. I don't have a ton to say about the fight other than like I'm impressed by Kevin Holland. I think he can make a run at 170. I think once he gets into that top like 8 or 9, he'll start probably losing then. He mentioned it in the post-fight interview. Somebody asked him would he be interested in a fight with like Michael Morales, and he said no, keep that guy the fuck away from me. And those are the types that are going to beat Kevin. I think that Kevin's best path is to ask for grapplers at 170, because it seems like grapplers at 170 he can beat. 185 not so much. A fight, I mean, I don't know if you have too much to say about the fight itself, but the fight that I kind of want to see Vicente retire. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
If not, maybe like, I don't know, he's probably already fought Magny, but maybe Magny again if they already have, or like, fuck, I don't know. Like, even I think he could maybe beat like somebody like Mike Malott. Mike could hurt him, but I feel like that'd be a good fight. Now for Kevin, Carlos Prates.
Oh,
I know Carlos probably wants to fight somebody above him, but I think he needs a.
Yeah.
That would probably be a fight he could lose, though. That's the thing I'm afraid of.
The thing for me is I feel like a lot of what we might want to see from Holland is just not what Holland himself is shooting for. He's kind of on an old man streak, the way like Joaquin Buckley is, and I think he's fine with that. I think he's fine with just like dunking on people and like not even trying to climb his way to the top. Just wants to fight as much. Like you said, he wants to fight. What was it, like 5 or 6 times this year, and he's already done 3, and we're just now halfway through the year. He very well might do that if he keeps just dunking on some scrubs. I shouldn't call Vicente. I'm not trying to say Vicente's a scrub at all. All respect to that man, but yeah, his better days are behind him. That's for sure. Yeah, he's probably like, as much as the Prates fight might be fun, and he might honestly be open to that because he does like a good scrap. he could very possibly be open to that fight, but I also just wouldn't be surprised if he's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some kind of whittled welterweight.
Well, he wants to fight. He wants to fight Colby. Like he called out Colby.
That's true. He did call out Colby.
Colby's not.
Continuation of his old man streak.
Colby's
I
not.
Him trying to fight like a Dalby or something, which actually could be.
Has he fought? Has he fought Randy Brown?
I don't.
Ooh, they're like the same size too, dude. Yeah. They both have like really long reaches. That's a fight. I kind of like that.
I don't think he has fought him. At least not that I can remember.
I would like that fight. Let's see.
Everybody definitely has not fought him.
That's the fight. No, I don't. I know that it probably doesn't make sense for Kevin now that he's probably going to be ranked. That's the fight. Well, Randy Brown just got a really impressive win in Kansas City, knocking out Dalby for the first time in Dalby's career. And we both know that Colby's not taking that fight. Colby won't. I mean, I don't know. Colby probably be like, no, I want to fight Vicente or something like that. Is probably what he's going to go for.
Colby might take it if it's like a main event on a Florida card, New York, not like an MSG card, but like they go back to Long Island or something. I don't know. He might take that fight.
Fuck, do like a Tampa card or something. Isn't Kevin from Florida somewhere? Maybe I don't know. No, he might be.
He's from California and grew up in Texas.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, last time Colby fought, it was main event of
Tampa, right?
Yeah,
Tampa. Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's doing too.
If they did that as a headliner, I'd watch it. I mean, Colby doesn't deserve it, but we know that the word deserve doesn't belong.
That's besides the point these days.
Yeah, I mean, so we're gonna fuck, dude. We're getting Derek Lewis versus Allison Teixeira in Nashville. So
anything's possible now,
right? Fuck, we've seen worse. I mean, I'll shout this out all the time. We saw Norma Dumont fought Aspen Ladd in a fucking main event one time.
Banger.
Anyway, that's the main card. Got to talk about. We might talk about a few of these on the undercard. Obviously, one of them we have to talk about is Josh Van versus Bruno Silva, because there's news come out recently. We don't know if actually, it's got to be fairly true because the man himself said it was. Brandon Royval. Obviously, so start out, Josh Van beat Bruno Silva, and we will touch on that, but I want to give a shout out that Josh Van might be stepping in less than 20 days to fight Brandon Royval, the number one current ranked flyweight on the planet. That is a step up, man. Somebody just tagged me in something on old X. I'm sure it's going to be interesting. But anyway.
I said that Van was going to find himself at the top of the division real soon.
Didn't know it was going to be that quick.
I was not expecting that. I was expecting to be potentially I'll be rooting for Van. I'll say that. I'll be rooting for Van. But, that's a tough task he's got.
Yeah.
But shout out to Van, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome that he's doing that because as UFC fans, we know that's the kind of stuff that actually makes Dana White really push for you, So I think that's
right.
Even if he loses, that's still doing this is a great career choice for.
Yeah, look how quick he bounced back from the Charles Johnson loss. He's bouncing back. He's young, so. He hasn't accumulated all of that CTE yet at an advanced stage. So 23, I think, 23. And going up against Brandon Royval, nothing wrong with that. But also, Bruno Silva, dude. Also, for anybody that was interested, our parlay obviously didn't hit. But shit, whenever we got to that last round, I was like, Bruno might make it through. And then Josh just said, nope.
Right. I was cracking myself up when I sent that gift to y'all of Robert Downey Jr. that survived.
Dude, I could hear it in my head. I was like,
and dude, I love Josh Van. I love Josh Van. So even when he did ruin the parlay, I was like, that was awesome.
No, it's I don't think any of the only part of the parlay that landed was fucking Coop's pick.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out Coop. There you go, Coop. Obviously, we need to probably pick like easier picks because shit, we can all pick minus 200 favorites and still get into plus money.
To
So,
be honest, I thought the Josh Van decision was a pretty sound choice.
oh yeah, I thought Patchy mixed by sub. I thought it was like okay,
Yeah.
but
That's great.
also fucking I thought that Max's pick for Kevin Hall and TKO was pretty decent, and then Kevin's like, "No, I'm just gonna choke him real quick." So hey, we'll do better next time. But anyway, shout out Josh Van, man, beat the soul out of Bruno Silva for 3 rounds. There was for 2 rounds and 50 seconds. There was like not a there might have been like a couple moments that Bruno had. I think he had a couple nice little shots in there because Bruno's got some strength. Um, but the age difference, the speed difference, the just overall activity difference is made. It showed. Bruno's had 4 fights in the time that Josh Van has been a professional fighter. So, man, dude, sky's the limit for Josh. Bruno, reset, take on an up and comer. Shit, he could probably get the loser or winner of probably the loser of Urseg and Perez coming up, and I think that's a favorable matchup for old Bruno because both those guys don't have the greatest chins in the world. So there you go, Bruno Silva versus one of those two guys, and Josh Van. Obviously, if the rumors are true, getting a huge, huge, as DJT would say, huge step up in competition. Best of luck to him. I love Raw Dog, so like right now I'm torn because I love both fighters, but flyweight man, been a long time since actually I think this is the best it's ever looked. So flyweight man, it's alive and it's well and it's excited for it. You got anything else to say on that fight, man? Or
Not really. Just gonna say what I always say, dude. Van better and better every time he gets in there.
love it?
Uh, ceases to amaze. Is that correct? Ceases. Yeah.
No,
No.
never ceases to amaze.
Never. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I meant to say. Quite
There
the
you
opposite of what I just said. That dude's unimpressive.
He's
Never,
fuck that
never
guy.
ceases to amaze. Sorry, I'm stupid, y'all.
No.
Yeah, dude. Big ups to him. I think great career choice taking this short notice fight. That's just gonna do a lot of, regardless of the result, it's gonna do a lot of good for him going
Yeah.
forward. And I mean, damn it, imagine how cool it'd be if he does win. That'd be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
That'd be literally
Also, shout out to the fucking balls on Royval though for like that is a high risk, low reward situation for Brandon Royval. So I got to give him a shout out because
that's
a
true.
dangerous fight, brother.
Oh yeah.
But we'll run through some of these real quick. Just talk about them. Obviously, Azamat Murzakanov beat the soul out of Brinson Hibero. Azamat, man, putting together a little impressive run there at 205. Needs to be more active. Obviously, DC even kind of like chastised him in the post fight for that, which was kind of mean by DC. Like, damn, dude, guy just won and you're gonna give him shit. Okay, but hopefully Azamat can get back in there, fight somebody like Johnny Walker, like he was supposed to fight. Or honestly, at this point, give him like the size difference would be comical for the Johnny Walker fight, but it'd also be comical for. I was thinking Rakic. Rakic would be a good fight for him because Rakic needs somebody to fight. He hasn't fought in a while. Hibero is Hibero. We had Spivak versus Waldo Cortez Acosta, alumni of the show, who's been on the show before. Waldo jabbed his way into a unanimous decision. Looked pretty decent at parts. I'm just going to be candid and say that I thought Spivak won, but looking back on it, I was kind of like torn because I really like Spivak and I might have said some choice words about that fight. But Waldo won. Waldo won. He won, and I can't be mad about it. It is what it is. And Waldo is now a top like 10-7 guy. I think Sergey was like number 7, so he'll probably take his spot. Maybe heavyweight, get a little bit breath of fresh air, and there's somebody a little different, a different name for once in a while.
Waldo also doesn't have he's a little chunky, but he doesn't have the worst physique. So it's
No.
nice to see some more athletic builds at the top of that division. It's like, all
Yeah, I
right,
mean, well, he was a professional athlete. He was a baseball player for the Reds, so um, got some discipline. He's got decent cardio. Shit, I always shout him out. He's got like, I mean, he got a little tired there at the end of the fight, but they were throwing.
mhm.
So shout out Waldo. I'm interested. Um, Chaos Williams, the Ox fighter, man. He got drowned by Gustafson, man. Gus, dude, just that guy is something to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of people weren't super excited about it because there was a lot of grinding, a lot of just very gritty type of work. But Gus was landing shots, and I mean, if anybody saw Chaos's face after the fight, he was fucking busted up. So shout out Gus in that fight, making his debut and impressing against somebody who's not easy to beat. So we could see old Gus be ranked one day, maybe. So that'd be pretty big. Ariana Silva versus Wong Tong. Um, I mean, Wong's good. I don't know if you have too much to say about that fight. She's good. She's
Yeah.
yeah. The next fight after that, I think it's you. I don't remember his full name. Um, just bolted Jekka Saragi in the first like minute and some change. Good lord, that knockout! I made a bonk meme. Bonk, fucking knocked him, dude. Uh, that that was a beautiful knockout. Walked out to Zombie. He is a student of TKZ. I'm super excited. Maybe we'll get another Zombie in the UFC. He, funny enough, walks out to TKZ's theme song "Zombie," but fights like Conor McGregor. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll get a little bit of mixture. We'll get an Asian Conor McGregor in there. Love that.
Tell me what you
But
think about this. I was telling Max, I was like, I don't know. Like, I get that he's like TKZ's guy, but like, I feel like the whole zombie thing, you got to earn that by like doing the zombie.
oh yeah,
You
you
got
got to
to
get
be
hit
a
a few
zombie.
times.
You got
Yeah,
to
you
be
got to.
a zombie. I don't
But
know.
TKZ got it. TKZ got it because he could literally take like you could fucking hit him with a like full blast of a shotgun in the face, and he would
Yeah,
walk forward back when he was in his prime.
you're right. But I feel like
So
that's what the whole zombie thing is. So to like
yeah,
not be
I mean,
that,
I like the
whatever. It's whatever.
it's still cool. Like it's still cool hearing him walk out to the same theme song because it kind of gives like OGs that vibe. But again, like you said, we got to see if he can take a punch because maybe you can't. Maybe you can't.
He can definitely get one. We know that he can
But yeah,
definitely
yeah,
deliver.
maybe. I was gonna say maybe he's turning people into zombies, like he's killing them, and maybe they'll come back to life. I don't know, but yeah, shout out you, man. He damn good. I'm excited to see where he goes at 45 because that was very impressive. Quillen Salkeld showed gritty toughness against Ashmoose, as I like to call him. YouTube don't copy strike from me for saying this, but anal ass mouth, as I like to call him. But Quillen, man, was dominating there early, and then dude,
Dude,
I saw it. I can't remember. I think it was Trevor Peak fight. That dude is mean as hell. He's
yeah.
mean as hell. He just started fucking punching. But Quillen looks even better than he looks better and better in every fight almost.
Yeah.
And
He had me nervous at the end. I'll say that
yes,
because, like you said, Yanal just started just throwing hammers, and it was.
yeah,
I was like, "Yo, oh, shit!"
yeah.
I'm a big Quillen guy, so I was supporting him. But, whew, had me on the edge of my
Do you
seat.
think looking at that fight, do you think that Quillen is just huge, or do you think that Yanal should be a 45er? I can't really read that because Quillen is massive, but I also feel like Yanal could like
Yanal's kind of got like a stout build. You can tell.
right.
I need to check the actual thing, but like it looks like he's got a very short wingspan. Like his
Oh, he's
arms
got to have a tiny
like
one.
don't
Yeah.
even reach his pockets.
Right.
Like
Right.
like he's got to bend to grab his phone out of his pocket. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Quillen's definitely a lengthy guy.
Oh, he's tall. Yeah. I don't like. I was gonna say I have to look at that because for whatever reason I keep on mixing up Yanal Ashmoose and whoever Nathaniel Wood lost to because I know it wasn't Yanal. Um, I would like to know who the hell I'm thinking about, but
It says he's
You
got
know,
a
man.
68-inch reach at 5'9". I feel like that's not too disproportionate, but just watching him, it looked like he just had these little kind of like Paulo Costa, little T-Rex arms.
He should have a 69-inch reach if he's 5'9" and it's the same. So he's got a 5'8" reach. It is a little
Yeah, his reach is shorter than his height. You're right. That's very
by 1 inch. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's you. So you were cooking with something like that. So yeah, I think. I mean, maybe
I knew
because he
I
is
was right. I'm vindicated.
maybe because he is so like short and stocky build, it is harder for him to cut weight. But I mean, hell, I mean, we were talking about Kelvin being small at 5'9" at middleweight, and I'm talking about this 5'9" dude at lightweight. I don't know. I just feel like maybe he could cut to. Well, Quillen is 6 foot and has a 75-inch reach, so he's 6 foot with a 6'3" reach. Yeah, I think it's more so Quillen being big than it is because he also looked big in the body too for a 55. I can only imagine he probably cuts a pretty substantial amount of weight. But yeah, honestly, I'm excited to see Yanal back in there, dude. Honestly, even after that fight, he's a warrior, and Quillen is only getting better. They're going to start. Never mind, I can't say that on YouTube. I'll skip that. We'll share that for personal messages. And then the first fight of the card was undefeated Chowinski. I don't remember Chowinski. Don't remember his first name. Fighting that Markel Medeiros. Medeiros looked very good. Was beating the hell out of old Chowinski's leg. Excited to see both of them in the future. Chowinski's tough, and Medeiros is getting better. So yeah. Overall, man. Good card. Good card. I mean, very, very, very one of my favorites of the year so far. I think out of pay-per-views, what the hell? That was our favorite. I'm trying to think of all the pay-per-views. Hang on. What do we got? What do we have for pay-per-views this year? This might be like
315. 315, in my opinion, was the best.
Yeah, that's what it was.
314 was a close second, and then 316 might be third. They're on a 3-month stretch of good pay-per-views. I think 313, was that Strickland DDP or was that 312?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Actually, I
They're
think
on a good
314. I
stretch.
think 314. 314 might have been my favorite. I don't know. Because 315 was damn good too. Actually, no.
315.
I'm gonna say 314. I'm gonna say actually, you know what? I'm gonna say it. 316 is my favorite card this year so far. I liked it, dude. I liked all the moments, man. I think the only souring moment in that card was the Patchy Mix moment. And hang on, let me look at this card again.
Even that wasn't horrible. It wasn't the most entertaining, but like you still got to see a guy get papped up.
Right. So yeah, I mean, Patchy and Bautista was like maybe the low point for me. De Silva and Wong Tong was not super exciting. Again, I'm never beating the I hate women's MMA allegations, but yeah, those two probably, honestly, were like the low points, and they weren't that low because we still got to see somebody get the shit beat out of them, and Batista versus Patchy. But I mean, honestly, like I liked the Gaslam and Piper fight because I was tense the whole time watching. Luque and Holland, I was tense. When you're tense, you know it's good. To me, you know it's good because the main and co-main the whole time I was sitting there on the edge of my seat, like zoned in. Gaslam versus Piper, I was sitting there like, come on, land something. Patchy versus Bautista, I was kind of like, I'm gonna go get another drink, Luque versus Holland, I was like, oh shit, like Luque landed a couple, Holland landed a couple, and then they're on. I mean, even like probably one people weren't super excited about, but the Mirzakhanov versus Ribeiro fight, I was excited because I wanted to see Ribeiro, who had like a fucking 10-inch reach advantage on Azamat. I was like, can Azamat get inside the distance? And then he did and just cracked him. And Ribeiro started doing the chicken dance, and I was like, oh, he's got it, dude. I think this one, we'll see in hindsight. Maybe it's recency bias. I think this is my card to be my favorite so far. We'll have to see, but my favorite pay-per-view for sure. But I'm gonna give it an 8.5. It was a good card. You got a score on that one, man? You got anything for it?
I'm gonna give it a I'm gonna give it a, and maybe some of this 315 was my favorite. 314 was my second. They're on a streak of good pay-per-views right now. So maybe those 315 and 314 are taken away from it a little bit. Still a great card, but I'm gonna give it a 7.8.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. And we got 317 later this month to look forward to.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, we're excited. We're gonna be repping the Charles gear for that fight, obviously, or for that card. But that everybody, oh, spark of the card.
You almost forgot. You
Man,
almost forgot.
Our switched up format threw me off. Our switched up format. I'm gonna let you do the spark of the card first, buddy.
Okay. So, guys, let's be honest. It's a pretty easy one this time around. And Knuckles, if you would pick this one, usually I try to like spice it up, try to find something else to have in my back pocket. If you would pick this one first, I was going to be like, yeah, dude, what else? Definitely use Knockout. He videoed the radio star. He
that was a good meme.
he did the thing. I mean, I remember I was sitting just watching it, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, he just hit him with that very short left, and the dude fell like a single domino piece. And my reaction was literally like, oh. Like just like, oh shit, like that came out of nowhere. Yeah. Usually, like, your reaction to a knockout, it's like, oh, but it's like that one was just so like fast that I was just like, oh, it kind of like took me a second to process it. That was incredible. Got me very fired up for the rest of the card.
For sure.
And the rest of the card delivered for the most part. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That's the answer. I mean,
there's no two ways around it. There's no dance.
Yeah, like if I could give, like, it's not even a hipster answer, but if I could give a secondary, let's say a secondary, my pick for sure is the same. It's Sergey versus you, but I wanted you to go first on that, so we would have had the same one. But secondary pick, honestly, is Bruno Silva versus Josh Van, just because it was leading into the main card, and we got to see one of the biggest prospects in the sport currently just do work against a guy who's known for being tough, a guy who's known for being solid. And honestly, he did it better than Manel Kopp did it. And now he gets to go finish Manel Kopp's work because Manel Kopp had it. It's kind of fitting. So, but anyway, I got to shout out Josh Van again, because God, he's in my top 15 favorite fighters. He's probably in my top 10 now, man. He is so good. And he's that fight
for me very quickly.
Dude, I was so tense. Like, I was so tense the whole time. I was like, oh man. Like, I wanted it to cash, like the parlay to cash, but it wouldn't have, obviously.
I was completely fine.
But like when he did it, but I was still like, this is awesome. The whole time I'm like, good God. I was like, this guy's just nasty. Mm-hmm. He's doing bad things, this man. So shout out Josh Van for a secondary little re-spark there. But that's the format threw me off. I almost forgot the whole spark of the card. But yeah, that is UFC 316. Everybody, Newark, New Jersey, happened this past Saturday, June 7th. Hope if you guys haven't seen the fights yet, go watch them. Even if you've listened to this without watching the fights, you know the results, obviously. But go watch them, man. They're definitely worth it. A lot of like fights with stakes on this card. I mean, there was several ranked fights. That's big, and several prospect fights. Damn good card, man. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Maybe recency bias, like I said, with my score, but I think I'm gonna rewatch 315 and 314 soon to make sure I'm not just being recency bias. Also, stay tuned, everybody. In the first month of July, or first week of July, we're gonna be doing our mid-year awards coming up. So we'll see if 317 tops it, takes cake for card of the half year. So.
Shortly after that, me and Max will be in attendance for UFC Nashville. Maybe not the most exciting card on paper. I think it'll end up being a very enjoyable, entertaining card. But we'll be debuting some shout out to my sister. She's making us some bench burner shirts. So we'll be rocking those at the event. And we'll get some content out of that, some stuff to put out there.
Shout out Sister Squared. So hell yeah, appreciate that. I'm excited, and yeah, well, I'll probably see me rocking that on every episode. But yeah, guys, appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. I really like this format. I hope you guys did too. I'll try not to forget Spark of the Card next. Obviously, we got it in there, but this format might be staying for even the preview shows. We really like it. Me and Squared, in between takes and off air, we were talking about it. We really enjoy this format, so hope you guys do too. Hope you guys had a good time. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, thank you, and Squared.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed this new format. Nice discussion type flow. But it was fun talking about the card, and everyone watching. Follow us on all our socials. X at bench underscore burner, bench underscore burner. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, everything else at Bench Burner Sports. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not for some reason. That would be ridiculous. How could you not be, asshole? Drop a comment. Just let us know again how y'all like this format, this kind of new discussion type. Other things, any potential matchups that we might have talked about, or other ideas of potential matchups of the fighters on this previous card. Just let us know what you think. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, and real quick, obviously you guys know most of us from X, but me and Squared are starting to get a lot more active on Instagram. If you guys are into that, and Squared's stuff is taking off. I had one that had a little bit more likes than usual, so definitely check us out. Like, just find our social. We have most of our socials like linked, or like it's not hard to find us. I'll probably attach my Instagram to my Twitter /X somewhere. But we have fun stuff, and even our profile, like our podcast profile, will have a lot of fun stuff. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, because we're gonna have a lot of funny shit, because that's what we like doing, coming out on that. So appreciate you guys, and that is it for Bench Burner Podcast, Stoking the Coals, episode yada yada, being whatever. So thank you guys so much.